So I'll just start with the introductions and some of the announcements. So my name is Refilo Mohale. I am a small business owner and the director at Startup Grind Bloemfontein. So I just want to take this moment to welcome everybody who has joined our session and to just say thank you for taking time out of your day to really just connect with us and to just listen to what our wonderful speaker has to say today. So feel free to, during the session, just feel free to drop your comments as well as your questions in the chat box. So after today's session, we hope that you will leave here a little bit inspired and having learned something new and having shared and exchanged ideas amongst each other. So if you wanna connect with a specific person, please do send them a message privately in the chat box. So before we start, I would just like to give a brief background on what Startup Grind is about and what is the whole idea behind it. So the way Startup Grind started, it was initially a US project whereby the startup businesses in Silicon Valley realized that they were experiencing certain common challenges. So instead of them suffering alone in isolation, they then decided, let's come together once a month to really just connect with each other and share experiences, and also maybe just invite a more experienced entrepreneur to maybe share their experience of how they were able to overcome the challenges and how they were able to achieve what it is that they achieved. So basically, Startup Grind is about sharing ideas and connecting and sharing experiences. So it was then realized that this is not a US problem. Startups or small businesses across the globe often experience common challenges. So the different chapters across the globe started then being adopted. So we are the Bloemfontein chapter of the global community of entrepreneurs. So our main aim is to really just create a network and a support group for small businesses within the Bloemfontein and the Free State community, where we really just share experiences and share ideas. So that's really what we are about, building communities and having a support structure for startup businesses. So the way today's session is gonna work is that I am gonna have a discussion with our speaker, Nthabeleng Khabutlane, and then me and her are just gonna have a conversation. And at the end of the session, we will then open up the floor for Q&A to everybody that is attending. So I'm just gonna ask that if you do have a comment or a question, to please write the comment in the chat box, and then later on she will then go through the questions and randomly pick the ones that she would like to answer. So in the case that she's going through the questions, we will have a startup or a small business in the Bloemfontein community just really sharing their business and what it is that they do, since we are about connecting people and really just promoting small businesses in the Bloemfontein community. So I think that is that. So we can start, but before we start with the fireside chat, I'm just gonna read Nthabeleng's bio so that everybody is on the same page on who she is and what it is that she does. So I'm just gonna read her bio quickly, and then we can start with the fireside chat. Nthabeleng is an accountant with a CA and a CTA, and she's currently busy with her master's at the University of the Free State. Nthabeleng is a seasoned professional with a track record of auditing and evaluation of highly computerized and manual environments. She has industry experience in the following sectors: the financial and services sector, manufacturing, construction, engineering, government institution, and parastatals. Her area of expertise include IT post-implementation reviews, application control reviews, operational audits, compliance audits, financial audits, value for money audits, audit turnarounds, AFS compilations, risk management, governance, and special investigations. She has experience at a junior level, middle level, as well as executive and management level in a career spanning across 16 years with the appropriate qualifications in both auditing and accounting. She has served on various boards and chaired many audit committees. Her recent business expansion in the short-term insurance makes her a formidable force. With gender parity still an issue in the insurance sector, her involvement is crucial. That is about our speaker. So I just want to take a moment to welcome you, Nthabeleng. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Rufilo. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Just really excited to hear from you. And I know the team has been excited, so we hope that you're just as excited as we are to have today's conversation. Okay, so before we just as we begin, with Startup Grind, we would first like to know about Nthabeleng, the person, before we know about Nthabeleng, the professional. So can you maybe just begin by giving us a short background about who you are, basically where you grew up and how you grew up, and if your upbringing somehow might have had an influence on the professional journey that you have chosen?
Okay, thank you. I was born in a very small town called Brandfort, I think 50 kilometers from Bloemfontein. I was raised by both my mother and father. I have other siblings. I'm the fourth child. We are 5 at home. I never liked biology and science and whatever. So in school, when we had to choose, I naturally chose accounting because I wasn't good with all the other subjects. But I've loved it. You know, it's been a wonderful journey for me. And I was fortunate to have a mother who insisted that we must get a post-matric qualification of some sort. And I was blessed to have a father who understood her vision. And the siblings before me all went to varsity. So yeah, I was fortunate in that sense. Born in Brandfort, I'm living in Bloem and Gauteng. And I'm saying that because I spent a few days there and a few days there. Yeah, that's in a nutshell me, my background.
So you are founder and CEO at Fezi Auditors and Consultants. Can you just give us a breakdown about some of the services that you offer?
And my honors, I then did my articles at KPMG.
Okay. Can you maybe then just tell us how your upbringing might have had an influence on you choosing the career path that you chose, and particularly entrepreneurship? So if your upbringing had an influence on you choosing entrepreneurship as a career.
Yeah, look, like I said, I was raised by supportive parents. I come from a supportive family. So I've always had a bloated confidence, if you want to call it that. But it's good to have people that believe in you, that share your ambition and dreams. And I think I was fortunate. I'm naturally supercharged, you know. I think I'm more supercharged than your average person. And I think because of that, I naturally then ventured into entrepreneurship because I have a stomach for risk. You know, for some reason I do. But yeah, I've been blessed with a very good support structure around me, my family, friends, and here I am.
You are the founder and CEO of Fezi Auditors and Consultants. Can you maybe just break down what are some of the services that you offer and what are the day-to-day activities inside an accounting firm?
Okay, so when Fezi was initially established, we really focused a lot on internal audit, on risk management, on corporate governance services. And then we later ventured into audit opinion turnaround. And this is where if your audit opinion is negative, we come into your space. We do amazing work and hopefully get you a better audit opinion. Recently, we've also done some asset management services for our clients. And, you know, with the pandemic now hitting businesses and a lot of businesses that were classified as medium going back to small because of cash flow issues, we've now decided we must embrace the micro small business market and offer incubation programs for SMMEs. So yeah, that's our latest venture. In terms of day-to-day activities, I try and split my day so that each aspect that I feel is critical to the business's success is addressed. So I still spend a lot of time networking. And I think the pandemic has offered me an opportunity to connect more with my team because I now see them more often, albeit virtual. But about 40–30% of my time, normal day, goes to business development. This is when I wake up. Then I'll do, of course, general office admin, returning emails, checking payments, doing this, doing that, checking the payroll, making sure SARS is paid. And then in the afternoons, I try and reach out to existing clients, and I do CRM, customer relations management, to say, are you happy? Is there something we can improve on? What do you want us to augment? Look at the current structure, see whether or not indeed there is something we can augment and improve, and just generally make sure that the current clients and the existing clients are happy. And I try every time before I go to sleep just to do a bit of self-reflection on the day and say, what did I do right today? What did I do wrong? What can I improve on as a person, as a leader running an organization? So that's more or less how my day is split.
Okay. So you recently just ventured out into the short-term insurance space. Can you maybe just tell us about your journey, why you ventured into that space, and what it is that you offer? What are some of the services that you offer through the insurance company?
Okay, I didn't hear the last part, but I think I heard the majority of the question. Look, the insurance was a diversification strategy. Somewhere along your growth path and your growth graph as a business, you need to decide whether you want to stay on the same path or whether you want to diversify. It made sense for us to diversify. So we wanted to enter into a new market, but same industry, because we didn't want to have to acquire a whole new skill set. So it was done to make sure that we can sustain the business and that we have alternative sources of revenue. So in terms of what we offer is life insurance, medical aid, risk management and risk mitigation. Of course, risk goes along with insurance, short-term insurance itself, and wealth management. And this is just, I'm mentioning a few, but we offer the whole array in terms of insurance.
Okay. Like your company, through having read your profile and your bio, I see that your company has an incredible business track record, having worked with many large organizations. Can you maybe just share with us what recipe you would say you use to be able to attain as well as maintain these large corporations as your clients?
I want to share that with you, but I want to share it with caution. Whatever has worked in the past will not work going forth because of the pandemic, and the economic environment is completely different. So what you need to do as a small business owner is you need to constantly adapt what you have. And by constantly, every day, you need to say, this is what I have, and this is what the environment is giving me in a way, and see how you can balance the two. But to in a way answer your question, how do you
I think
attract?
we are losing you a bit. So can you maybe, I think maybe you might be bumping the earphones. So can you please maybe just continue from where you ended off? Small businesses
Okay.
must trade with caution.
Yes, I'm saying you must tread with caution because the environment is very different to what we had before. So every day you need to sit and you need to ask yourself, do I need to adapt what I have to what was announced today or to whatever information was released today? But to give you a framework of what worked, and I think it can still work if you are agile enough to adapt as you go along, is we formed business relationships, we networked, and we wanted to build lasting relationships with our business partners. We looked at our pricing and we looked at our product and we said, what can we offer the market that's different to what other people are offering? And we've emphasized and we keep re-emphasizing a quality offering to make sure that our clients are happy and to make sure that whatever we give them has an enduring benefit so they can enjoy the benefits of what they pay for a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now. And I think constantly you need to improve yourself, and hence my disclaimer earlier to say you need to make sure that every day, especially with the current environment, you adapt, you change, and you twist and turn as and when you need to. In terms of retention, as I mentioned before, I spend a lot of time on customer relations management. So I check on our current clients, I make sure that they're happy, I make sure that they come back. And what is critical now with the pandemic and the fourth industrial revolution is keeping abreast of technology. Make sure you know what the new innovations are. Make sure you can afford the new innovations, and make sure that basically you're not left behind. Word of mouth is also very important in business. Not every small business can afford advertising and expensive marketing. So we rely a lot on word of mouth. So the quality of your offering, again, plays a role here. And just make sure that you generally are open to using technology to improve whatever it is that you have.
Just a follow up on what you are saying about small businesses. So usually, as a new business and a small business that is new in an industry, how were you able to start operating and getting clients to start trusting you, even though Fezi was maybe still a small company that was new? So I just want to maybe find out how were you as a small business and a new business able to get clients in the beginning? So I just maybe want you to touch a little bit on that. Should I repeat the question?
So again,
okay.
No,
Yeah.
I can hear. I heard the question. Yeah. Okay, so again, networking is important, and you need to decide which networks you want to exploit. So business doesn't come to you, you go to the business. And you must build lasting relationships. And you must also show your clients that you are consistent in your quality offering. What you offer now is what you will offer again and again and again. And better still, if you can improve that offering. So like I said earlier, my day, about 40-30% of it goes to networking, trying to establish new networks from the existing networks, and basically just building and forming relationships.
Yeah. So in a conversation that we had, you mentioned that you were previously working in corporate and you were previously employed. So can you maybe just take us through your transition from typical 9-to-5 employment to then starting your own business? Did you have some form of an exit strategy that you maybe can share with somebody that might be considering leaving their typical employment to start a business?
Yeah, I did have an exit strategy, but I am more of a person who made lemonade out of lemons. You see, then the company wanted to retrench. and wanted to downsize, and they worked on a first in, first out basis. I had only joined about a year when they decided to downsize, and I thought I could use my retrenchment package for something better. And by then, the company that was retrenching had clients they could not service without my skill set. So we negotiated. I said, it's okay, you can retrench me. I understand the basic and the principle of your retrenchment, your first in, first out, but allow me in my own private capacity to assist you to service these clients. And that's how I started, you know. It was a bad situation that I eventually turned around. And it was not just me who was retrenched, it was a few of us. And I approached the other people who were retrenched to say, but you know, we can either sit and cry about the situation, or we can try and do something about it. And fortunately, the majority of them agreed to do something about it. And as I speak to you, some of them actually are still part of Fezi 9 years later.
I think what you just said is particularly important during this time that we're going through, because you read the papers, you see on the news that people are constantly being retrenched. So I think what you're saying right now is very important, especially with what is going on around the world right now. So when we had a conversation at a point, you mentioned something about like when you do leave your job wanting to start a business, you should be more aware of who you are in terms of what characteristics you have. So could you maybe just touch a little bit on that so that maybe the rest of the community can have access to that information?
Yeah, look, my feeling and my view is that we are not all business people. And I know the government and people are encouraged to start their own businesses, but you need to have certain character traits to survive, especially in the first 3 years, because the first 3 years are almost.
I think we're losing you a bit.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm saying the first 3 years are the most horrible. You know, you never have money, you have staff to pay, and things just don't combine the way that they should. So you need to have resilience. You know, resilience is important. You need to have tenacity. Tenacity is staying power. And you need to be able to adapt, and you need to be able to say continuously, I want to improve myself as a person, and be open to constructive criticism, and accept that you cannot mix emotions with business. You know, business, nothing personal. Take what you can take from it, and move. That's what you want. Focus on your goal. Keep your focus. Remain decisive on what you want. And again, integrity and honesty, especially now with the pandemic, plays a significant role in how you structure your deals and your business. So in a nutshell, you need to be focused. You need to have emotional intelligence, understand that nothing is personal in business. You need to have some level of tenacity. You need to be able to adapt, and obviously your ethics, your integrity has to be at the core of what you do.
Okay. I actually think you just answered. I had a follow-up, which was gonna be on having worked in corporate and also now running a successful business. What are some of the characteristics that you would suggest a young entrepreneur should have in order to make it in this professional journey? So I think that is something that you now just touched on. So I just want to find out, having now worked in corporate and now running your own successful business, what would you say has been the most challenging aspect of your career so far?
Yeah, you know, the bad thing with accountants is that we want to just number crunch. We don't want to embrace other aspects of how a business is supposed to be configured. So my my greatest challenge was making the transition from being a manager type of individual to being a leader. And the two are very different. You need the managerial skills because you need to appreciate the technicalities, and you need to have the know-how of how things are done and how things work. But at the same time, to grow the business, you need to be a leader. You need to have vision. You need to lead by example. You need to motivate your people, even though you're not there, but they are there. And you know you're not there because you need to go and network there so that you can get more. So for me, the most challenging aspect, and I think it has a lot to do with personality as well, is the shift from managing to leading.
Okay. I actually just wanna backtrack a little bit on something that you said in the previous question, which you said that if you wanna start a business, you need to know yourself, and not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. So let's say maybe you are good at being a manager or are good at crunching numbers, but you don't necessarily have the entrepreneurial skills. Would it then be right to assume that if you are that person, but you find somebody who has those entrepreneurial skills and partner with them, you would still then maybe stand a good fighting chance of running a successful business if you do maybe find
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You see, running a business is finding the right mix in your executive team. If your skill is attracting new business, you focus on your skill and you put an executive team that can take care of the technicalities while you're appreciative of the technicalities and the know-how. But each person then gets to focus on what they're good at, and that's being a leader. That's showing leadership, knowing that Nthabeleng is good at this, Lucia is good at this, Patricia is good at this, and that's what they will focus on.
Thank you for that. So the next question that I would like to ask you is that usually with entrepreneurs and creatives, we tend to focus more on the product development part as well as the service delivery part of the business, but then we tend to neglect the financial part of the business. So based on your experience, what are some of the common mistakes that small business owners or new entrepreneurs make? And can you maybe share some best practice tips that you can share with us entrepreneurs or creatives who don't necessarily focus on the finances?
So what you tend to see is people mistake revenue for profits and cash flow, and those are two very different things. If you have an order that pays you 100 rands, you need to be appreciative of your overheads, your variables from that 100 rands. What is your profit? What are you going to pay SARS? And ultimately, what comes to you? People seem to make the mistake of thinking the 100 is mine, therefore I can spend the 100 without paying my suppliers, without paying SARS, without investing in the future, and all of that. So cash flow planning is important. You need to know, if I get 100 rands, how am I going to spend that 100 rands, irrespective of how small or big your business may be. And this is a common pitfall with small businesses. So profits don't necessarily mean cash flow. Revenue does not necessarily mean cash flow. And you need to understand that, and you need to appreciate that on a daily basis, you must manage your cash flow and you must build reserves. Because what happens if order A does not pay on time and order B needs to be delivered, and if you do have excess, rather reinvest it in the business. And most small businesses only want to compile financial statements when they need to submit the tax returns, or when they want to get a tender, they want to bid for a tender. That's not good. On a regular basis, you need to sit and analyze the figures and say, what are the figures telling me? Am I on the right path, or do I need to change my course? In terms of best practice, you need to do certain things daily, certain things weekly, certain things monthly. Cash flow planning every morning. every morning when you wake up, and I have a bad habit of waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, but it's the first thing I do. Do I have enough money to get through today, this week, this month, this year, the next year, and the next 2 years? Can I account for what I have? Do I have supporting documentation for everything that I'm claiming to have spent money on? And does it actually make sense? On a weekly basis, look at your revenue versus your cash flow. I am getting 100 Rand. How much do I need to get through this week, today, this year? On a monthly basis, get a snapshot of where you are. Get someone to give you an income statement, a balance sheet, analyze it. Keep track of your expenses, understand what is variable, understand what is overhead, and understand how you can control it. But most importantly, stay organized. Keep track of your expenses and set up technology and tools that can assist you to do this easily. It doesn't have to be the old-fashioned way of putting receipts in a shoebox.
I think we started to lose your sound a bit again, but you can continue so that maybe we can hear if it's better.
Okay. So I was saying that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. That it's important for you to track your expenses and to stay organized and to accept that with new technology, we cannot keep receipts in shoe boxes anymore. So it's important to stay ahead of yourself and to stay ahead of your business and understand what you are spending money on and why, and what does it bring you in the long term, in the future. What does it generate?
I think that was very informative for me personally. I was taking notes so that I can go implement, because I know with a lot of small businesses, the whole financial statements thing, you ignore them for the rest of the year. Only when you need to bid for a business contract or maybe commit to SAF, only then do you now want to make those financial statements. So that is something that I would say I picked up, and going forward, I'll make note of it. So
but it's equally important to analyze and to interpret your financial statements. You must understand what you're spending money on, why, and what is the enduring benefit of that expenditure.
Thank you so much for that. Do you have maybe any reading material that you would prescribe for somebody that is now running a business but does not necessarily have a financial background? So any simple reading material that can be understandable to somebody who does not necessarily have that financial background or the academic background in finance?
I think the majority of us have heard of a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It's worth reading, and it's worth reading more than once. I've read it twice now this year, and I think next year my financial decisions will be very different. There's also an ebook called Accounting for Dummies. Not saying that people are dummies, but it's a very easy read, and it makes sense as you read it and you try and conceptualize what you are spending money on. And then there's an accounting game you can play if you don't want to read. The book is called Accounting Game Lemonade Stand. So I think to download it is about not more than 100 rands, but yeah, it's worthwhile in the long run to do those recreational readings and then translate them to your small business.
Okay, I hope people are making notes, because we getting like the scoop on finance today. So my second part of the interview now has to do with governance and risk management. So for many of us, when we see the word governance, we automatically think government. So can you maybe just explain what governance means in the context of business, and why is it important for small business to have some form of a governance structure in place?
Okay, so basically governance is how you run your business affairs. It's how you govern your business. And everyone needs to have some level of a governance structure, even if you're running a one-man show. So what does that mean? It means you must have a bank account, number one, and you must have one bank account. Don't have 15, because for any accountant to try and put together financial statements for 15 bank accounts gets tedious, unless if you've separated your businesses. Track your expenses. It's part of a governance structure, a basic one that you need to have. Develop some type of a bookkeeping system, be it's on Excel. Understand what's coming in, what's going out, and why. You must have some type of payroll system as well. I have people, I need to pay them, I need to pay as you earn, I need to pay UIF, I need to pay my skills development levy. So you need to establish that system as well. And take care of your taxes, as part of your governance structure. But most importantly with governance structures is you must always evaluate your structure, and you must reevaluate your structure, and you must find ways and means to make it more efficient and better and effective, So you have to have a governance structure, be it you reduce an HR policy into writing, or you reduce a conduct policy into writing, or a code of ethics into writing. But each and every single business owner has to have some level of a governance structure. Most of us business owners, it exists in your head. But as the business grows, it becomes important to reduce it into writing so that you can share it with the rest of the organization.
I would say personally, from what I'm getting in terms of the importance of governance, because you usually think that everybody's on the same page and everybody knows what they should do, and then certain challenges or problems come into play, and then now you are having disputes within the company, and then you don't have anything to govern how certain things should be handled. So I think from what you have said, that's the main thing that that I picked up and would take away from that point. So on your bio, another area of expertise of yours is risk management. Can you maybe just tell us what your job as a risk analyst entails, and if you can maybe share a simple risk assessment strategy with the community that one would maybe use in their own company?
Okay, so what happens if you wake up tomorrow and you've run out of money? Let's say you've been irresponsible, you went to Diamond Walk, let's assume, and sorry for the guys who've joined the session, but let's assume you're a young guy, you find a nice young girl, you go to Diamond Walk, a client has paid, you want to spend some money, and then you wake up the following day and you have nothing, but it's month end and you need to pay your staff. So your risk assessment would be, what happens if I wake up tomorrow and I don't have reserves? What will I sweat? What will I do? How will I get money? Do I have enough working capital on my balance sheet? Can I go to the...
Am I the one, Patricia, just maybe tell me, am I the one with the poor connection, or is it our speaker? Patricia, can you hear me? Okay. I think I lost you there. I think my network was acting up a bit, but have you said all that you needed to say on that statement? Because I'm sure.
Yes. No, I have. Yeah. So it's important to identify your risk, to measure your risk exposure, and say how likely is it that this risk will occur. Examine your solutions and say, am I going to transfer the risk? Am I going to reduce the risk? Or am I going to avoid my risk? Implement the solutions and then monitor the solutions that you've implemented.
Okay. So we're nearing the end of our session. So the question that I would like to ask next is, based on your observation of the current economic climate in South Africa, what are some of the common risks that are affecting most businesses, and what are some of the necessary measures that one would need to put in place to make sure that their business has the potential to survive through this?
Look, I think business interruption now is the greatest risk that we all face with the pandemic. We start, we stop, we start, we stop, we start, we stop. So you need to have mitigation strategies in place to say, how do I best overcome business interruptions? And remember, business interruptions will ultimately translate in your bottom line. You see your profits are shrinking because my business is constantly interrupted. So that's the biggest risk that we face now. Of course, financial risk. From an economic perspective, if you look at the current economic conditions, the economy is shrinking, unemployment rates are rising, there's just no money in the system. So how do it goes back to my initial example of risk management. Do I have enough working capital on my balance sheet to circumvent my financial risk? How do I prevent business interruption so that it doesn't affect my bottom line that negatively? And remember, cash is king. You know, whatever little bit you have now, hold on to it because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Right now, we're operating in very new environments and very unknown environments. So hold on to what you have.
Okay. So this is the last question from my end, or it's not even a question. So as we are at the end of our session, in closing, is there anything that you would maybe like to share with the community, whether it be opportunities in your network or whether it be words of encouragement that you would like to share with the people that are in the session today?
No, for sure. So it's important to keep track of everything. Where am I? Where am I going? How am I going to get there? When do I think I will get there? But for you to get there, you need to manage your numbers. And I know, financial statements and accounting is not a thing for people, but you need to get there. You need to keep the focus. And you must partner with your supply chain. If you look at your supply chain, you must partner with people that make a difference to your business. For example, you need to partner with a bank that will understand when you say to them, I don't have money this month, but please, can you give me, can you front me so much against the strength of the working capital that I have in my balance sheet? And being an entrepreneur is a choice. You make the choice to say, I'm going into business. So make it work. Even with the pandemic, we can all survive, we can all emerge and succeed. But make sure that you keep your eye on the numbers and account and account and account. And I'm fortunate to have a partner such as a bank. I don't call them my bank, I call them a partner. Because they've really a partner, they've held my hand for the past 9 years, and they've taken me through. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'm saying you must equip yourself with good partners that will see you through. So I bank with Standard Bank, and I have been since the beginning of my business, and they've really seen me through. They have great incubation programs for SMMEs, and so choose strategic partners. And like I said, know your numbers. Account.
Well, thank you so much, Nthabeleng, for a very informative session. I was sitting here with my pen and paper taking notes. So I would like to think that everybody that has attended today has learned something that they didn't know before. So we can now open up the floor for Q&A. And I see that we do have quite a few comments and questions in the chat box. So while you are looking through the questions and seeing which ones you will be able to answer now, I will give an opportunity to one of the startups or the small business in the Bloemfontein community. Siphe Zinani would like to maybe just share some of the things that he does in his business. So we would like to give him a platform, because at the end of the day, Startup Grind is about connecting entrepreneurs and giving them a platform within the Free State and the Bloemfontein community. So Siphe, you can take it away.
Thank you very much for the platform, Rufilo. I am Sipezi Nani, and I'm based here in Bloemfontein. I run a language and communications consultancy called Expressions Language Solutions. What happens there is that we basically offer communications and language services. We manage newsletters for small businesses, or any size of businesses. Actually, we manage their newsletters. We specialize in document editing and designing. We translate, we proofread, we create content for clients' requests upon their requests, and we just pride ourselves in a 12-hour turnaround response time, because we respond within 12 hours. And if the work is of a reasonable amount, we also deliver within that 12-hour period. You can find me, or you can find the company on www.expressionsls.com, and you can call 073-865-0274. Yeah, I'm sorry for forgetting my number, but that's just about it. The company's name is Expressions Language Solutions. You can check it on LinkedIn. We prefer to not use other social media pages, but we are available on LinkedIn, and you can contact us on email. That's just about it. Our services are charged at the quantity of work that we receive, but we basically are guided by the rates that are used nationally by Safia and Professional Editors Guild. Thank you for the opportunity. I tried by all means to be short.
Yeah, you took. Thank you so much for that, CP. So we will also share some of CP's contact details on our social media platform. And if anybody wants to maybe share their business, just give their business a platform, you can send us a DM on our social media platforms. And then for the next event, maybe you will be the one getting the platform to talk about your business. So Nthabeleng, I just want to find out if you've had enough time to look through the questions, and if you have identified. Okay, you can.
Sean, you can take the question from Sean. Sean Magiri.
Sean,
the question. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying, Sean, may you please just ask your question directly to Nthabeleng? Sean. Okay, Sean. Sean, I'm asking to unmute you. Can you please just accept the... Okay. Yes, you can ask.
I may. Okay, thank you. So I'm currently studying sciences, and I was wondering, because I'm studying, I have online courses, and I understand that the business field is like a lot of modules, courses are going on in finance, stocks, and all that. So I wanted to know, what particular modules or courses have you taken that were crucial in bringing you to the level of success you are now?
Okay, can I answer?
Did you get it?
Yes.
Yes, I got it. Okay. Thank you, Sean, for the question. Look, most importantly, remember what I said earlier is that as an entrepreneur, you need to transition from management to leadership. So a leadership course is a must. It teaches you emotional intelligence. It teaches you to separate business from your personal emotions, and it gives you a lot of growth as a person. So that for me is a must. That for me, every entrepreneur must go through. And then you must also look at the industry that you are in and what would distinguish you from your peers, right? Whether it's technological advancements or embracing the fourth industrial revolution, which I think the majority of us now cannot continue to ignore, because here we are having a session on Zoom. Last year, this time, we would have never conceptualized that this is possible, you know? So you need to keep yourself abreast of technology, technological developments, digitization. How can you best modernize your business for the current global crisis that we are in? And of course, read the Accounting for Dummies. Understand what the numbers are telling you. Talk to the numbers, interpret the numbers, analyze them. Because, you know, the other day I was saying to Refilo, I'm mentoring Refilo. you find business people that are so attached. Say, for example, you are selling clothes from your boot, and a lot of people are doing that. And there's a pair of shoes there that you've had for 6 months. It's not selling. But every time you open your boot, you start with this pair of shoes. And I don't know whether it's because we attach too many emotions to things, but if it hasn't sold for 6 months, why not return it and buy something that actually sells, you know?
Okay. Sean, does that answer your question? Okay, I think it does. We can move to the next question, Ms. Nthabeleng. Who's the next question directed to?
Retabile Shah.
Ratabile? Okay, Ratabile. Patricia, if you can locate Ratabila's mic, can you please just unmute her to be able to ask her question? Oh, I think I found her. Ratabile, I've just unmuted you. Can you? Yes. Okay. Can you please respond?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good day, everyone. My name is Nthabeleng Khabutlane. I'm part of Fezi Auditors and Consultants. And I also have a few of my friends who have small businesses. So my questions, I think if I can get responses from Me, I will take her answers and report back to my friends. Okay, so my question to me is, how do you make sure that the tone at the top, like your vision and mission, is not lost in transit to the junior staff members? Because in most cases, you would find that your intentions as a CEO are correct, but when you share them with your managers, and they have to share them with junior staff members, their message, your message gets lost in transit, and you would find that your objectives are not executed as you wish. So how do you make sure that your objectives are executed per your expectations?
Okay. Thank you so much, Ratabile, for that question. Nthabeleng can answer.
Okay, thank you, Retabile, for the question. Look, whenever you communicate your vision, your mission, the strategic objectives, be it through you doing it personally or through a manager, you need to come up with some type of communication strategy, you know, and you need to evaluate how effective that communication strategy is. And you also evaluate results to say, are the results that I'm getting matching what we communicated as a vision and mission and what we communicate as strategic objectives. So it goes back to the whole exercise of implementation, monitoring, assessing, and making sure that what you're actually trying to achieve is what you are indeed achieving. And the numbers will tell you that, you know, if you're able to reach certain profit levels, if you're able to reach certain turnover levels, then you can say my mission, my vision, and our strategic objectives are being communicated. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Nthabeleng. I hope, Ratabile, your question was answered. We can move to the next person.
Selby Mochochoko also raised a question. I think we have time for one more question, yeah.
Yes. Selby, you can ask the question. Selby. Okay, I don't know if she's struggling with her mic, but can we maybe just then give somebody else a question if she's not ready to ask it herself?
Yeah, I think that's about it, Refilwe.
Okay. Okay, so okay, let me just read it out because I can see her question. She says, what are the key drivers do you believe are important to consider expansion or diversification of your business offering? You went from auditing slash consulting to risk services in bracket insurance. So, yeah.
So I didn't want to acquire a new skill set when I diversified. I was looking for a diversification, and I felt it was important to enhance revenue streams to diversify, so that you are not just counting on one stream. But I wanted to use the skills that were already existing in the business for the diversification. And that is why I then came up with insurance. I was not looking to build a house or acquire a whole new skill set. I wanted something that complemented what was already in place, something that already had a governance structure that was working. And that is what informed our diversification strategy to diversify from auditing to risk your insurance side of the business. So yeah, we looked at what we had, we looked at what we knew, and we looked at what was working for us. And we just chose a different market, but in the same industry.
Okay. Just I know I'm not allowed to. But it's just a follow up on what you just said. When we had the conversation earlier, you mentioned that that businesses usually grow and then have a slump, and then you need to then come up with something to sort of like grow it again. Can you also maybe just touch on that, because it also maybe relates to Salvi's question a bit?
Look, any business goes through, and I think just in general, anything that you do goes through certain phases. You know, there's you start, you pick up, there's the growth phase, and it sort of plateaus. And if you're lucky, it will go up again. If you're doing the right things, you are keeping abreast of technology, you are digitizing, you are strong on customer relations management. You know, it will plateau, go up, go down a bit, plateau, go up. So for each phase of the business, and you need to be honest with yourself about the phase you're in. You need to be able to say, but how do I go from slump back up? Do I really want to rather stay on the plateau, or do I want to go back up again? And remember, every phase comes with risks. What if I spend money on something and it doesn't yield the results that I want? So, you know, it's the same with diversification. We went through, we went through a growth phase, we were plateauing, and we said, okay, but what do we do? Do we re-engineer what we have now, or do we look at a diversification strategy? And we diversified, same industry, but different market. Because ultimately what you want is to make profits, you know, that's what you want ultimately.
Okay. I hope, Selby, that answered your question. So we are at the end of our session, but just to close, I'm gonna hand over to my co-director, Siphe Zinani, to just do like the vote of thanks and to to just close us off before we go. Siphe, I'm gonna unmute you. Patricia, can you please Siphe, are you muted? Okay.
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the handover, Refilwe. Let me just exploit my opportunity to do the closing right now, because I feel like there's just one small question that I didn't hear. I'd like to know, what insurance product in your insurance side of business are you offering for small businesses? What can I come and have access to with my 100 rands in your company?
It depends. It depends on what you want. You know, we can, if you have a wide variety of assets that you feel you need to cover, we can assist you with that. If you feel you want professional indemnity in case something goes wrong in your business, we can assist you with that. If you feel you want medical aid for your staff members, we can assist you with that. If you feel you want
Okay. I think also, I don't know if, hello, can you hear me?
She froze.
Okay, no, but I think she answered most of the question anyway, CP. Just
Yeah, she
close it off.
Yeah, she did. Thank you very much to everyone who attended the call or the meeting. We really appreciate your attendance when it comes to this, and we hope that you get to meet people within this meeting who will help you to achieve or realize the goals of your business in the future. Basically, we're just hoping that you get to find a business partner within this session so that you can achieve some mileage within your business by just bootstrapping in a way within the people who are in this network. And thank you very much once again to our speaker, Nthabeleng Khabutlane, for the very informative presentation that she did for us with regards to risk and auditing. Now we know what to do better in our small businesses, especially in terms of recording, because you'll get to find out that, like Refilo was saying, that she sometimes doesn't record transactions in her business. She relies on bank statements. It's very important to create your own financial statements without even having to wait for a tender or anything of that nature. And thank you once again to everyone. We have similar sessions, actually not similar sessions, but the same sessions each and every month on the last Wednesday of the month. So we'll meet again on the 26th of August, same time. I will say same place as well because you're on Zoom. And we hope to see you once again. And thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. Bye.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you, everybody.
See you next time.